folks. What is today? Wednesday, the 28th of April. Oh, we're almost into May.
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
A couple of days.
They're talking about 80 degrees on Saturday or something like that. What's going on? We might actually see some summer yet. But hi, my name's Wade Stahlberger, or what some people call the Wiz, and some people call Stallenfocker. You know, you can do what you want. I really don't care. But today, I've been so excited about today because basically when I started this entire thing, this is the first guy I even thought of bringing on. It was Mr. Aaron Dorval here.
Hello.
And it's going to be a great time. But first, I want to talk a few moments about a few things here. Is that I've had a few good conversations this week with Susie from Susie's Weekly Entertainment Report, I believe, on Facebook. This is basically a couple weeks ago when I found her on there and realizing all the work she puts into, like, just basically promoting all the entertainment going on out there. And just the hyperlinks and everything else. I mean, this person is awesome. Awesome. And she has agreed to come on to the show. Now, granted, it's going to be about late July now as we're getting really booked up here, which is really, really cool. So if you're out there and you want to be on the show, let us know. We want to help out everybody that's going on, or at least they're in the entertainment industries out there, and, you know, maybe even further out than that. Because basically, I'm always thinking this way, is that a rising tide raises all boats. Now we're all coming out of this COVID thing, and we're all trying to get back and working, especially, musically. And I'm going to guess, like, within the art, like drama and all that, too. Because every place that you have a crowd is gone, and everyone's trying to do this online stuff, but it's online. So we're trying to get back out and doing everything again. And if we sit there and we help each other out, and, you know, promote each other, help. I've got a feeling that this is going to be a really, really cool thing that's coming up here. So excited to have Susie on. And then we were talking to Gina a little bit. Gina's going to be coming on here for Gina Powers.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really more guests that I'm not going to disclose at this moment in time because I'm really, really excited about bringing them on here. So that's my big spiel for today. Other than that, live chat, people, if you're out there and you're watching this right now, talk. Give us something to talk with you about. Tell us what's going on out there. We'll definitely spew it out. You got something you want to promote, we might miss it, or, you know, because I've spent hours literally searching the interwebs trying to find this stuff because it gets buried. It's so amazing how it's hard to find where shows are at, much less, you know, promoting your own things. So, yeah, let us know. Let us know out there. You know, we got old Cito over here. He'll be sitting there talking to you about that. But we need to get to Aaron. Enough about this. What's going on? So, Aaron, it's been so long since I've seen you last. I can't believe it. It was the last time I was with you in your living room, literally. Or
the basement studio, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go to that thing. I just want to know about Aaron, because Aaron's not from around here originally. I learned this from watching another podcast where I kind of got the idea for this one, Red Monk and Wolf Girl. I know. Peter, if you're out there, hi, how you doing?
Hey,
and say hi to Jerry as well.
Jerry.
You know, so, Aaron, where did you come from? Why are you here?
Who the heck am I?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, as Wade was saying, my name's Aaron, and I actually originally come from Western North Dakota. I grew up in Belfield. For those that have never ventured out there, it's basically just this tiny little town out west right on the interstate.
Next to where?
Nothing. Next to nothing.
Okay.
It's 18 miles west of Dickinson.
You're way out there.
Yeah, dude. It's
west of Dickinson.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
If you go another like 15 miles, you end up in Medora.
Well, how did you end up all the way in the east side? Because I know there's like that big rivalry. Eastern North Dakota.
So we used to travel a lot as kids. I've got a ton of family down in like the Denver, Colorado area. And I always wanted to be living in like a larger city. So when I got married in 2004, shortly thereafter, I remember sitting on the couch. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and I was like just distraught about where could I go next in music, right? And it was in 2004. Out west was like, I say out west like it was a different state, but in Western North Dakota there weren't like a lot of bands. There wasn't really a music scene. I wanted to move to some place that I could actually do something.
Okay, so you're still living in the same place when you got married in 2004.
Yeah, still I was living in Dickinson at the time. Yeah.
Oh, in Dickinson. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's so bad.
It's not so bad, but like, so Dickinson's was really interesting at the time because, so when I started like playing guitar, which is not my first instrument, by the way, I played since like, oh Christ, I was in like the 4th grade. I picked up like drums and percussion, and then moved on to like, I picked up French horn in like 6th grade, and then kind of played my way around the brass section. Ended up in tuba in college, just pretty much everything, right?
Tuba.
You know, tuba gets a bad rap. It's a really great instrument.
Oh man! Once you play it the first time, you're just like, "What's it doing to me?" It's really strange how it physically attacks your face.
It does,
really
cool. And I ended up funny story. I ended up not playing tuba, even though I was really good at tuba. But I ended up not playing it because some of those notes just like rattle your chest.
They do.
And it was just like, oh, like, you know, you can like gag on the notes.
I can't see you as a tuba player anyways.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I discovered guitar like senior year of high school, junior, senior year, somewhere in there. So this was like 98-ish.
It's not really a late bloomer, but still it's kind of later in the...
Late for guitar, right? Yeah. Like you now you look on YouTube and there's like 14, 16-year-olds that are just like playing all this really crazy stuff. But so anyway, I picked up guitar around that time frame, and there just wasn't anybody in Belfield to play with. It was me and my other buddy who picked up a guitar at the same day, and we would just sit in the basement every day after school. We'd go to the basement and just play until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
So what would you play?
Every
you just
single day.
make up stuff? You like 3 chords, or did you actually try
yeah,
play tunes?
Well, so I've always kind of been a writer. I know like I have kind of a reputation of like as a cover band guy right now, but really my roots are in writing. So even when I was playing like French horn, I was composing. So in junior high, I was writing music for French horn and just like any instrument that I could get my hands on, you know.
Interesting.
And so somewhere there are notebooks stacked full of what I'm sure is just awful music. Right? You know,
someone would say it's great.
So who knows? I don't know, but I've always been a writer, and so when we picked up guitar, it was really there were a couple of reasons why. I was a dishwasher in Medora at the time, and all of the guys I played or that I washed dishes with were in a band in Beach. And
I know where Beach, North Dakota
Beach
is
like right on the border.
Exactly.
It's mile marker number 1.
I got a
between Beach and Montana
or
North Dakota, Montana. Yeah. So all these guys were like playing guitar and they were in a band, and on breaks they would pass the guitar around. And it'd get to me and I'd go, I don't know how to play this, right? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That
so
sounds
just
like the coolest
guitar
place ever to work if they're just passing a guitar around.
Yeah, right. Well, we were
Like
dishwashers, you know?
Still.
Yeah. So it was like really embarrassing, and like I really just picked it up because I was like, I want to fit in on break with my coworkers, you know? Like I have all these other instruments that I play, but I just don't play that one. How hard can it
French
be?
horn in.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, bring a French horn into a restaurant and see what happens.
Well,
yeah. So I begged.
Street cred there.
So I begged one of them. I said, Erica, you gotta show me just like literally anything on guitar, right? And she showed me how to play the intro to Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, that's a good one to jump into.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first thing I ever learned to play on a guitar, and it was that little riff. And I didn't know the rest of the song, just that opening riff, and I was just immediately hooked. It became like a drug. I had to buy a guitar. I bought a guitar, and then all I did all the time was play that dang guitar. And when I first started, I couldn't even like fret a note on the guitar. It was just like thub 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 thub. But as it turns out, if you do something for like 8 hours a day every day, you get pretty good pretty quickly.
What?
You know?
Practice?
That's and so you asked what I would play, what I would do, and a lot of it was that riff, right? So that riff, and super into like Metallica and Slayer and these things at the time, and so I picked up a ton of Metallica stuff, all of the cool riffs. I could not play a song for years, but I could play like all of the really cool riffs out of all of those songs, you know? Yeah, right.
That's all I can really do.
And it's crazy looking back on it because like so you learn about like hammer-ons and pull-offs and things like that. And I remember reading this book. We had a tablature book called like Easy Metallica or something like that. It was all the wrong riffs, but they were like close enough, you know?
It was good for mom and dad, yeah.
Right, yeah. And I remember looking at it and I'm like, a hammer-on is impossible. No one can do this, you know? Because every time I would do it, it would just like, I would hit the string and then I would hammer on with my finger and it would just go, bah. Just like mute, you know? I'm like, this is impossible. Just like throw the book down. But it was a lot of that kind of thing because we didn't have internet. I couldn't go to somebody that would teach me how to play guitar. I didn't have that. I had to take my guitar to the band director and have him tune it. And so I didn't even know how to tune the thing. And I would just have him tune it. Then I would take it home and I would play. And every few weeks I would come back and be like, I think it's out of tune again. Can you tune this?
Who was your band director?
I had 4 of them.
Okay.
In Belfield.
See if I recognize anybody.
So, man, I don't even remember a lot of their names. So we had Mrs. Hewson was originally our band director, and she.
Wait, I remember you talking about this on Red Monk, and
yeah,
the one that had a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, Mr. Danowitz, he was a raging alcoholic. So we had him for a couple of years, but right before him, we had a band teacher, Tim Cook, I think his name was. I just remember his first name was Tim, and because he preferred that we just call him by his first name. He was like the cool like teacher, right?
Oh, I got you.
Just like, just call me by my first name. My name's Tim, right? But he's the guy who tuned the guitar for me, and anytime we had questions on like, how do we do this thing, or what does this sound like, or something like that, he gave us instruction on how to like figure out music, not just like here's a sheet, play it, right? He was the only instructor out of all the instructors that I had until I got to college that was actually like interested in explaining how music works. You know?
Sounds like a great guy.
And he was. Yeah. And prior to that, it was all just books.
Teacher.
Like I would go down to the library and like check out like music theory books. You know, in like junior high.
Check out music theory books.
And that's what I did. So there was a book called The Complete Guitarist.
Yep. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's an old school book. It's still recommended today. Check that out. I read all the way through that. Read through like tons of like college texts and things like that in high school, so that when I got to college, I remember sitting in theory class as a music major, and I'm surrounded by music majors, right? Everybody in this class, music major. And I'm sitting there and like, I'm the only one who knows what a chord is, like how to spell a chord.
Can I give my story of my first date ever in college theory?
Please do. Please do.
Now I got to put it into context here too, because it's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of dark, because basically my mother just died like a week and a half before this, and I don't know what's going on. I have like all my mom's friends are the ones that signed us up for everything. I just signed up for the classes, and I just knew I wanted to do music. I didn't know what I wanted to do in music. I just wanted to do music.
Yeah, me too.
So the first class, I believe, was like at 8 in the morning. On a Monday, just walking in there, and we had this crazy professor, Dr. Guazda. And I'll never forget him. He was
Guazda.
Oh, he was.
I know him.
So awesome, but yet scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Almost as scary as Dr. Mo. So, Dr. Mo, if you're out there, yeah. You scare me all the time, but you're so awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, but so we get into there, and there's like 30 of us in this class, and I'm just like, okay. Well, there's a bunch of people here that are interested in doing music. And Dr. Guaz, the first thing he says to us is, look to the left, look to the right of you. Because basically, probably both of those people will be gone. Some of you by October. Some of you will just quit, and the other ones I'll kick out. But don't feel bad, because I just saved you from a life of poverty. And
yeah.
that just stuck with me. What's going on? It's like, what kind of decisions am I making?
Right, yeah. And that's...
I mean, it's just so the truth that guy put out right away, and just like, you couldn't throw anything past him. You went in there, and if you just couldn't do exactly what he was asking you to do, he'd tell you right off the cuff. He didn't, I'm not going to say the word, but he didn't do that to you.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just love that guy from the get-go. And I tried making his top theory class, and he just never let me in there. But it kept pushing me.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's my story on my first day. Oh, we have a question here from Scotty. Scotty, we got to get you on here, too.
Aaron, did you ever take in Fuzz and the Guns at the Iron Horse in Medora, Bismarck band?
Fuzz and the Guns. I recognize that name. I couldn't place the show, but yeah, they were one of the very few bands that actually played out there. So there were a few bands. I'm going to shout out some really old bands and nobody's going to know who I'm talking about, but Fuzz and the Guns is one of those. Fully Loaded from Bismarck used to play out that direction. There was a local band called Group Therapy that was actually my roommate. And there were very, very few. Burnt Toast, I remember, was
an
like
awesome name.
a band out there. And then of course, you've got all of the T-Bor bands, right? There's if you go to Western North Dakota, the music scene is still to this day pretty much the musical family is the T-Bor family, from Hebron, and there's the T-Bor family band. There's what was it something Hog. It was I can't even remember what it is, but there's a ton of bands. But it was basically just 5 bands that played in Dickinson, Belfield, and if there was a street dance, it was going to be one of those 5 bands.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Almost every single time. And bands from Fargo just didn't ever go out there. I never saw a band from Fargo except for Breckis's 24/7. I remember seeing Jason Breckis in 2002. I saw Jason Breckis at Armies in Dickinson. That's where I met him.
I was going to say,
actually.
the only venue I know out that way is Armies.
It's
I
the
just
only
heard of
venue
it.
that exists. Yeah. So 24/7 was out there, and I think I saw the original lineup of 32 Below
Okay.
back then as well. So yeah, Fuzz and the Guns, I know the name, but I wouldn't be able to place you.
He also says they were the first bar band I sat in with.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
very good.
Very cool. Very cool, man.
So, moving on. So, what school did you go to then?
So I went to Belfield High, of course,
Yep.
and then I ended up going to DSU. So
Dickinson?
Dickinson
Yeah,
State University. Yeah. And I almost made it a whole semester at DSU. I made it 9 weeks, and it was so. I'm a pretty pragmatic fellow. It was so boring to me, and it college was the class structure and everything just didn't do it for me. I'm not really a school, a hyper structured kind of school guy. I believe in higher education. Absolutely. If that's your thing, go do it. Do the thing, right? But I'm more of an on the hand, hands-on, on the fly kind of style learner. And so college didn't really work for me. And a lot of it was just because what I was scared of being so far behind in college that I learned everything I could about what I wanted to do prior to going there. And so when I got there, I was super disappointed to find that my classmates couldn't read music. And
that's
so
just one of the truths when you first start, at least
right
in the music.
The
no,
program,
college music,
yeah, the program is designed to take somebody from just raw musical talent with no knowledge of theory at all and start putting them through the paces. And you start with a lot of clapping hands and stomping feet, and you start there and then it's the staff and the notes, and then here's how you spell a chord and that kind of thing. Well, I showed up at theory and was I could compose in modes by the time I got there. And so
yeah, you're well ahead.
I was doing year 3 theory in year 1, first semester. And so I slept through all my classes and I ended up failing out of college because I just didn't show up. Right. So that was really hard to do. It was a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time, it was probably really good for me because instead of that, what I did is I got a real job, right? I got a really good job. I landed a job at a call center, and became a travel agent for a while. And on the side, we started building a music scene in Dickinson. So instead of going to school and trying to like learn all this stuff and get a piece of paper, instead what I did is we went out and found some musicians. There were no bands in Dickinson, 0. And
No bands in really?
0 at the time. There was not a single band in Dickinson.
Interesting.
There was
Yeah, that place is large.
yeah. So what we did is a bunch of friends and I got together and we just started like jamming, and we rented a place behind the Esquire bar and back in this alley, and it was just this like rundown kind of behind the bar area that had like one of those like business doors, right? Like the glass with the steel kind of doors, you know. And we just started playing, and every single night after work, everybody ended up there. 7:00 at night, that place was packed. And so we just started attracting more and more musicians started coming out of the woodwork. We got guitar players, we got drummers, we got bass players, we got singers, and we created a kind of hub for musicians to just show up and play. And it was every single night. So you could show up.
Night, so
you could show up on a
fest every single night.
So
Man.
it was like Monday night. You could
how
show
old
up.
Were you?
18 at the time.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so like
right when the prime.
so Monday night we could go down to the jam space and we could play, and then somebody would be like, hey, you mind if I play for a while? And then we just hand off that instrument, and then somebody else would sit down with the drum kit or whatever. And we ended up having like every single night there'd be like 20 to 30 people just in this jam space. And the cops would show up, of course. But the cops were actually super cool with it. They just kind of drove by and like listened for a while, and they're like, okay, cool, nothing's going on here, then just take off. And they pretty much left us alone. When we started turning like 21, then Bernie, the owner of the Esquire, we were attracting enough business to him that he would come over and just bring a couple of cases of beer and sit them down in the middle of the room, and he'd be like, hey, great job, guys.
It always goes back to that dinero.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how we kind of we built this music scene over a couple of years, just out of an alley behind a bar. And from there, Esquire started having bands. We started forming up bands. And we actually even got to the point where there's an old abandoned band shell in one of the parks in Dickinson. And at the time, it was like totally condemned. Like nobody could use it. It was in just complete, like, disarray. Yeah, And so we asked the park board. We're like, hey, can we use this to put on a concert? It's a band shell. Can we use it? And they were like, well, yeah, sure. It'll be like $25. You can rent the space, whatever.
That was really nice.
And so we're like, sure. And so we did that, and we pulled in like 200 people showed up to that concert.
That's awesome. Outdoors.
So we went back the next time, and we're like, hey, we want to host like an all-day kind of event here. We're going to bring in some bands. And we brought in a band called Belvedere from Canada and a couple of bands from like Iowa and stuff like that. And we had like an actual show. We went to the park board again, and we're like, hey, can we rent the space again? They're like, well, it's going to be $100, right?
Of course,
like, like they're gonna bump it up. They're gonna bump it up. But like the stage, so the stage right of the band shell, because it's a concrete stage, right?
Yep.
And had fallen. So there was like 1.5 feet of like this crack in the concrete that went like, I don't know, 30 feet down the stage.
We're waiting for the build up here.
So we're like, nobody go on that side of the stage. And that was our safety mechanism, right? We're just like, nobody go on that stage. I have no idea how many people fell off that dang crack, but like it was a lot of people that fell off that crack. So we had this big concert, and we did that. I kind of skipped a part of the story. So in Dickinson, there was a music shop called Physic Music. And Physic Music Mart was run by Dave Physic. We called him Old Man Physic. And he was this old dude who, if you went into the shop, you could only describe as disgusting. But if you got to know him, because Dave had he smoked like 6 packs a day. He drank many bottles of Diet Coke. And his store smelled like urine. And he had fingernails about an inch and a half long that were like different shades of yellow and black. It's just gross, right?
Really
Super
painting
gross.
this one up. Yeah.
And he would sit behind his desk like this. And go, "Arr," and he'd make really like bad dad jokes about stuff. Right? So if you
Like this guy
you plugged into an amplifier and go, "We got a problem with that amp." Like, "What's that, Dave?" He goes, that amp head. You know, what do you got? What's wrong with it, Dave? He goes, "Doesn't have any ears." Oh. Like that's like, you know. And if you like looked at the
Oh my
kazoos
God.
every single time, you go, "One-man band." Like, that was Dave. But he was this really great guy. I got to know him over the years, and I absolutely adored Dave. And he did so much to support the things that we were doing. He gave us like free equipment, like we could use his stuff. He gave me free strings every time I was in there. "Hey, you need some strings?" "Yeah, great." Right? He sewed back into that community to the point that
That is great.
when he passed away, in his final year, he got moved to a nursing home that was a little ways from the store, but he still got to the store every day. And I lived 1 block from the store at the
Okay.
time, so I was in there all the time, and I got to know him really well, and I would give him rides, you know, to and from the store all the time. And one of the last things that Dave said to me was, I gave him a ride back to the nursing home, and he looked at me and he just said, "Aaron, I've always been good to you, right?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "Good." And then he got out of the car, and I never saw him again.
Wow.
And when he passed, we did a huge concert for him at the band shell, and 600 people showed up to that concert.
That is awesome.
So that was we built that music scene just from nothing. It was just good people getting together and doing something that was fun and amazing, and we brought it to the level where multiple bands were formed out of that, both cover bands and original bands. That group therapy band that I was talking about cut an album that I think to this day still holds up. It's an amazing alternative rock album, and no one's ever heard of it, but it's an amazing album. And so to get that out of just a bunch of dudes in an alley, like, you know, it's just absolutely crazy to me. So when people complain about like the Fargo music scene and like, "Oh, it doesn't, you know, you gotta, you know, it's never gonna do anything here," it's like, then fix it, then do it, then go do the thing.
That's exactly
You
it
know?
too.
So
Exactly it too.
yeah, I ended up, that's what I did instead of college. I ended up just playing and getting out and gigging. And I, you know, during those days, I didn't have a band, but I had a lot of networked people that I played with. So if somebody was doing a show, we always had a jam session beforehand, right? On stage. And I remember showing up. I showed up to a show many times. I showed up to a show and was like, "Hey, do you mind if I get on the bill?" And they'd be like, "Sure." And then I didn't have a band. I didn't even have any equipment there. I had like nothing. I would literally show up to the show and be like, "Could I play first?" And they go, "Yeah, sure." And so
What would you do?
so I walked through like the crowd most of the times, and I would just be like, "Hey, you want to play drums?" And I'd be like, "Sure."
Oh,
And I'd be like, "Hey, you want to
really?
play bass?" Yeah. And so we'd get up on stage, and they go, "What are we doing?" You know? And I go, "Well, do you know this? Do you know Fuel by Metallica?" They're like, "Sure." Like, "Play it like the record?" "You bet." And then we would just play it. You know, like
It's a
It
blues
was-
riff and beat.
it
Try
was-
to keep up.
it was the most ludicrous thing I could imagine as a musician. Looking back on it, that's batshit insane to do. But we did it. We did it all the time. I probably did 24 shows where I showed up to the gig without a band and formed one on the spot and just played.
That's a kind of art type of rock that I mean, literally, if someone around here was doing something like that and made it work,
They wouldn't even get on the stage.
yeah. Well, first off, you know, it would still be just amazing. Be like, what? How did they do that?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he just picked people up. Just like, yeah, let's play. Like, all right.
That's what we did, and a lot of those guys had never even played with before. But that's kind of how I networked. A lot of it was just you know these guys, and you know they do a thing, and you kind of end up honing that negotiation skill with bands. It's like, hey, can we use your guitar, or hey, can we use your drums or whatnot? And most bands are like, yeah, cool, that's no problem, you know. Then we just get up and play, and we'd play for 45 minutes, calling out songs, discussing on stage, like, do you know this song? Do you know this song? Yeah, it's this, and this. Okay, let's do it, you know? And like, it was just a total jam like thing. And so when I moved to Fargo in 2004, there was a band called Training Wheels at the Hub. And it was essentially a live
Not
jam
familiar.
band. Yeah, it was Eric Letvin, Jeremiah, I don't remember Jeremiah's last name. Eric Letvin, Jeremiah, and was the drummer Dale was the drummer.
Not familiar.
So
Dale,
yeah, Dirty Word.
Okay.
Yeah, Dale's from Dirty Word. Jeremiah played in DK All Stars, and he's in Jackson 3 right now. So
Oh,
Eric
okay.
and Jeremiah are from Jackson 3.
Okay.
And so anyway, it was just those three guys, and you could show up. It was before the Cadillac Ranch was the thing. It was back when it was the House of Rock, right?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And you could show up and sign up and say, I want to play this song, and then get on stage and do it. Right?
Really? I didn't even know that.
It was super cool. It was
Okay.
super cool. And I remember showing up to that one time, and I was like, cool. Like, this is like exactly how we did it back in the day, right? So it was like this really easy transition. And I used to show up every Sunday and play the same like 3-4 songs, you know. It was really amazing and really at home. And I just carried over that technique of, you know, improv band kind of whatever you call it. I just carried that over into Fargo and networked in Fargo.
Nice. Made a lot of friends.
It made a lot of friends. Yeah, for sure.
But there again, it's how people are helping each other out and start making everything happen.
That's what it's all about, man. It's
beautiful.
like, I don't even know how I met you, right? Like, I'm sure it was at a show and we got to talking, and then next thing you know, like, fast forward 15 years later, and here we are on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, I have
just
no idea.
remember you just popping out of the crowd. Hey, I'm here. And I'm like, what?
I'm sure.
Why are you here?
I'm
Okay.
sure it was what it is. That's what I do.
It's awesome. Oh, yeah, we got to talk
Oh, the
about his
guitar,
Cadillacs
sure.
here. This thing is a thing of beauty. What kind of wood is on top there? So I was looking at it today on the photos, and I was just like,
Yeah.
the first thing that went through my mind was like a bird's eye maple. I'm like, no, that's way too intricate for that. It's not even
So
close.
the top of that is a veneer. It's called camphor burl.
Camphor?
Camphor. Yep.
Okay.
It's usually used for like
at that.
jewelry boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, reminds me like an old piano type thing, but
Yeah,
jewel
kind of.
box I can see as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guitar was built for me by a company called Emerald Guitars out of Ireland, and they build carbon fiber acoustic guitars. And I years back in 2011 or so, I got an acoustic, a carbon fiber acoustic from them, and they were really just a small company at the time. And I was looking at carbon fiber cellos, and I'm like, why isn't somebody doing this for guitars? And so I just started doing online research, looking for, see if I can get my hands on a carbon fiber guitar. And I eventually settled on, after an extremely amount of research, like just a stupid months on end kind of thing, because that's who I am as a person. I ended up getting in touch with Emerald Guitars in Ireland. And so I talked to Alistair Hay, who's the owner and master builder there. And he built me a carbon fiber acoustic. And at the time, he just did like kind of this exposed top on the carbon weave, and then the rest of it was just like looked like fiberglass, right?
Okay.
And so I was like, could you expose like the weave on the entire guitar? Could you do that? And he's like, yeah, but it's kind of labor intensive. I got to charge you an extra couple $100. I'm like, that's fine, man. And so I did that, and then I did a bursted green, because it was just a solid green at the time. Was pretty much, he had 3 colors, you know. And so I did like a burst with a black burster on the edge. And he built that guitar, and I was sweating bullets every month because I had just sent a stupid amount of money to a guy I've never met before
In Ireland.
for a guitar I'd never played before in a different country, right? So I'm just like sweating bullets. Every month I'm emailing him. I'm like, hey, looking for an update on that guitar. Like, hey, you know. And he eventually delivered. I got that acoustic, and I fell in love with it immediately. It's absolutely amazing, and he used that guitar for all of his advertising because it was the only one that had like the full weave kind of thing.
Oh, I bet it was just beautiful.
And to this day, that's his most ordered finish is that guitar. So I got to know him.
Happy about that, yeah.
I got to know him over the years, and he built a bass for my wife and built. I asked him about a steampunk guitar, an electric guitar, and it took us about a year to design that electric guitar, that headless guitar that you saw a moment ago. And
could you bring that back up, Cito?
Yeah.
I still have one more, stupid little.
I brought it back already, like QVC.
Yeah, so the whole
QVC
thing.
there.
Yeah, so the whole thing is carbon fiber. The whole thing weighs about 4 pounds, and that top is a camphor burl. And there's
4 pounds.
4 pounds. It's light as shit. It's awesome because I used to play a full body Les Paul from I used to have this 71 Les Paul,
Oh
like
my
full
gosh.
thickness. I weighed like some
20,000.
stupid yeah. It was like the Titanic. That thing was so heavy. It was heavy enough that the strap locks pulled out of it. It was so heavy. So going to this was a huge change. But there's a lot of really cool features on this guitar that he built in that we discussed. It took us about 18 months start to finish to build this guitar.
Now, drummer speak. Is that knob lit up? Is that what's going on?
It
here?
is. So
Has
it's
he
got
LEDs in this thing.
Yeah, there are LEDs in the in the cavities there. But if you flip it over, there's no back plate, right? So what he did is inside those inside those cutouts is actually clock gears. Those are actually harvested from real cuckoo clocks that he kind of shipped in a bottle, like with long sticks and a soldering iron, and like soldered them all in to the cavities so they can't move.
So this is like a one of a kind.
It absolutely is one of a kind, yeah. And then the knob, he asked me a question. He asked me a question that no one's ever asked me before or since. What would you like for your knob to be on your guitar? So what are you talking about? He goes, it can literally be anything. It could be a lever instead of a knob. It could be like one of those spigots, like a red spigot if you wanted. Like we can literally do anything to this knob. And so I had him cast an acrylic knob. And so he took apart a watch and like stuffed all the gears kind of together in the acrylic.
Okay.
So inside the knob looks like a little kind of watchwork machine on the inside of it. Somebody offered me $200 for the knob on that guitar one time. This is crazy. Yeah. And so there's LEDs on the inside because why not? The inside the cavities is actually painted with a glow in the dark paint. And so the blue LEDs, when they're on, will charge up the paint. So when I go on break, I can shut off the LEDs and the whole thing glows green.
And then it plays like a dream too.
It does.
doesn't
It does. There's a lot of cool things with that guitar that you wouldn't notice unless you were a guitar player. Like I sent him plaster casts of my favorite neck. I sent him those, and he modeled those perfectly on the back. And then the fretboard actually does a cool thing that I've never seen on any other guitar. Is it flare? Right. It looks crooked, right?
Yep.
If the fretboard looks crooked, it's perfectly straight, but on the treble side of the strings, it's fatter after the 12th fret. It flares out to give you more room so that you can vibrato on the high strings and not pull the string off the fretboard.
I've never seen that.
It doesn't exist anywhere else. That's why you haven't seen it.
Saw it here first.
Yeah. It's something we kind of came up with, yeah.
Now, what's the name of that brand again?
That's Emerald Guitars.
Emerald Guitars.
And if you ask him to buy that or to build you that guitar, he probably won't do it. But
enough of
but
that.
now I've got that guitar. I've got an acoustic from him, and then Brandy has 3 bass guitars from him as well.
3 bass guitars.
3, yeah. She's got
You
two
really like
two
this
5s and
guy.
a 4. There's no better instrument in the world, to be honest. Like he
Is it
builds.
that carbon fiber. Is that what really gives it the sound that you're looking for? Or
Well, yeah, yes and no. I'm kind of I'm a weird tone guy, man.
Hey,
Like I'm
that's
super.
why you guitar play. That's why you have 18,000 guitars. Us drummers, you get like 1 set, maybe 2, because you have one in the basement.
Yeah.
Change
Yeah.
the drum heads guy. That's basically it.
I'm a weird tone guy because I don't really believe in like the traditional tone wood, like mahogany sounds warm. Like, I don't know, man. I've had bright mahogany guitars, and so I think that the sum of the parts are greater than the individual parts themselves.
And it's only 4 pounds.
And it's only 4 pounds, and that's the big thing, right? Like, it's 4 pounds. It doesn't care what humidity it's stored in. So I can take it from a trailer that is -20 because we just drove like the guitar across the state in January, right? I can take it from a -20-degree trailer and put it in a 80-degree bar, and the thing is still in tune, because it doesn't care.
We listening out there?
Yeah. So like carbon fiber to me is one of the like really overlooked but ultimate guitar materials, in my opinion.
No, I've had a friend at a carbon fiber snare drum, and that thing was so loud. It was just ridiculous, and how small it was at the same time.
Hyper loud, and the tone is like really crystalline. It's like so crystal clear because
I think that's what made it so loud.
There's nothing restricting the vibration,
It just goes. Oh,
Yeah, totally.
I remember them being very light as well. But we need to get on to what is going on out in the Fargo Moorhead area. So I got to tease this question to you, Aaron. When's the next show and what's happening in the Dorval home? We'll find that out here in just a moment. Cito, what's going on out there?
Hey, how y'all doing? I don't have my microphone. I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Your microphone? You want to use mine? I think it's right over
Maybe
there.
they can hear me, but
I don't think anybody can hear you, man.
no.
No.
Okay. All right, we got the downtown report here. We got jazz at the Delta Urban. That's the 42nd Street Jazz Band. The DCR has, what is that, South 26?
South
That's the
26.
band name? Okay.
So
and
that's actually the old Irish whiskey. That's
Oh,
Jay and
okay.
Lucy are out
That's
there playing
them?
again. I was so excited to see that.
okay,
so.
South 26.
They're playing tonight, so if you're bored, you want to get out, South 26 at the DCR.
And then at the Bar 9, we got the Acoustic Fest going on Sunday. There's going to be 30 musicians out there and a whole bunch of more watching. So that's going to be awesome. Theater B has the small mouth sounds.
Yeah.
What is that, like a wind thing or something?
Basically, it's a play that is putting on. It's brand new. I don't know if they're premiering it or not, but it seems to be like just right out of the case. I mean, no one's really seen this before. So.
Then at JC Chumley's, we got Lori Allen. How do you say that? Elaine. And then October Road is there on Saturday. And back at the DCR, we got the South 26 still on the Wednesday. It's all right. Aquarium is reopening with Boots and Friends.
Woo-hoo,
Sweet.
Aquarium.
That should be good. And then Spec has Jay Ricochet. And then I thought Revolution was playing at Specs this weekend too. But
Are they?
I thought so.
That's what I found.
I thought that was going to be Friday, so I think I'll add that in. I think they're playing this Friday there.
Sure.
So that's Keith Johnson, my favorite bass player in town.
Nice.
Let's see, downtown we got the Three Lions Pub. We got Lou Karanica playing a solo show out there. Front Street Tap Room, Gina Powers is out there. Side Street Bar and Grill, we got Rick Adams on the Friday. And then Rookie Sports Bar, Michael Morris is on there. Tailgaters on Friday and Saturday, we got Mr. Michael Pink. And that's what's going on there. And then the Uptown, we got at the Windbreak this on Thursday, we got 32 Below. And then Tripwire on Friday. Pop Rocks on Saturday. At the TAC Music Center, we got Christian Music Night on Thursday. That's going to be a scorcher. And then Jessica Vine's album release is on Saturday. Make sure you guys go out there and see her new album release of Delicious, I think it's called. Shooting Star, we got the Bear Creek Band. And that's all the way Friday and Saturday. So do we have more?
Do you have the out of town right up on top?
There it is. And then out of town, 32 Below will be at the on Friday and Saturday. The Laughing Sun Brewery, we got the Caribbean Groove with Scott Previs. That's on Saturday. The Stage Stop Saloon, Stones of Red. And then the Arthur's Barn, we have Jacked Up out there, going to be playing Friday and Saturday night. And then our friends at the Southtown Poorhouse in Grand Forks, Pop Rocks is on there Friday. And then Rhyme or Reason is on there Saturday night. So anyway, that is the music report with Cito. So later.
Later. Later.
Yes, but with that being said, we also have one more thing we want to present here. Is that Gina? She's playing on, was it Saturday? At the tap room? I'm probably messing all this up now. Or was it Front Street? It's so much, guys. There's so much information out there. It's awesome.
Oh, and now it's not queuing.
Oh, and here we go. The promo for her album that'll be coming out shortly. And again, we're having Gina on here, and probably, I think it was August 4th, I believe. That's when we got her scheduled to come in on at least the podcast here.
And if anyone wants to be a guest, they can.
Yep. And again, if anyone wants to be a guest, please let us know. We'll get you in. We're definitely, the whole idea here again is to promote everybody in the area and just get this place riled up, at least get all the entertainment things going. But again, we have to make sure that if you are going out to any venue, all times and dates are subject to change at any given notice. So make sure you do contact your venues or look them up before you head on out for those shows. So, Aaron, what's coming up?
What's coming up? So I've been doing a lot of writing, tons and tons and tons of writing. Going, kind of flexing my my ballad muscles lately. We're in the middle of my friend Luke Janikowski, and he goes by the name Jansky. He's kind of an acoustic, kind of low-key ballad guy. He reached out to me, wanted to do some writing. So I've been doing a lot of writing with him. I don't know what that is going to come out to be yet.
Okay. So you're doing some recording with this?
Yeah, we're writing, recording. We want to get some acoustic things together. We're going to call that Acoustic Burrito. Which will be very fun.
Ballads of Burritos.
Yeah. Which will be a lot of fun. And I've got a new cover band we're putting together. Our first show's coming up this summer. That's called Shake Hands with Danger.
Shake Hands with Danger. Who's in this?
So this is Josue Garcia from Save Me CJ. Was in a band with him for years and years and years. And we've got 3 kind of new guys that are just friends. It's very low-key. They've never been in any bands before. It's their first band kind of thing.
Oh, very nice. You have to break them in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot of fun because they're hyper talented and really dedicated, but at the same time, they just don't have the stage time, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been having an absolute blast in rehearsals with those guys. And look forward to that this summer. Shake Hands with Danger will be the name of that band.
Shake Hands with Danger. Do you have a Facebook or anything?
I don't know. We just decided on the name.
Yet?
We just decided on the name on Monday. So
you heard it here first. This one's fresh as well.
That is absolutely fresh. It comes from a safety video, like an old 80s safety video.
Shake Hands with Danger.
Shake Hands with Danger. Yeah.
So what kind of covers are you going to be concentrating on then?
So a lot of it is going to be like early 2000s alternative stuff, a lot of 90s stuff in there, with a few updated things. We want to hit a little bit more of the hard rock stuff. So on top of your 90s staples, we're going to throw in stuff like Paramore and stuff like that, where it's
very interesting.
We're trying to do some things that other people are not doing, but is still like really good music. Okay. So we're kind of we updated to kind of like that early 2000s kind of time frame, and it's a lot of fun, man.
Oh, it sounds like it'll be a blast. Can't wait to see you guys out there playing.
Yeah. So
that'll be really good. But, Aaron, I will say that it's been great talking to you, and we're definitely going to have you back on. As I can tell. I know his pictures have been just kind of flashing up there. And
That's
we have
true.
to see the really young one that I still wanted to ask about. I was like, you're playing bass. Is that one even there?
Yeah, I can give you the quick 30-second
Look at
on this.
That. It's like, wow, the Metallica. Oh, which Metallica shirt was that?
That's the Sad But True shirt.
There it is.
And it's still brand new in this picture. So this is the oldest picture I could find of me on stage. And if you notice, it's a picture of a picture. Like you can see the table in the background, This had to be, oh God, I don't even know, like 2002 or 2003, something like that. And that was taken at Party in the Past Year in Beulah. We were playing with, I like to say that I opened for Starship featuring Mickey Thomas.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah. But that was like, there was a band called Star 27. Do you know the band Gentlemen Callers?
I've seen
Dickinson?
the name on marquees. But
Okay,
that's about it.
so the drummer Dallas Pasnick and the guitar player Tyler Schmaltz were the drummer and guitar player in that band in 2002. That's who we played with. We played one gig, and it was that gig. We got paid in beer, and thankfully 2 of us were old enough to drink it.
Score.
Yeah.
Tell me about this little deal going on here.
So
And Cito's
this
asking
was
about this one.
yeah. So this was at
A
this
drug
was
deal with water.
yeah, exactly. So that's Jason Hook, the guitar player for Five Finger Death Punch. So this was taken at the Red River Valley Fair. My band Chaos in Question opened for Five Finger at that show, and that was a hell of a good time. And after we got done playing, Jason stopped me backstage, and he was wondering about some of the guitar tones that I was using, and so we just were talking about guitar tone, and he took me over to his Axe Effects and let me play around with his tones and his patches, and it was really, really cool, actually. So
Kid
those guys,
from North Dakota.
look, they get a bad rap for being jerks and whatnot, but like actually they're all really good dudes. They were honestly one of we've played with tons of national bands, and they were the only national band who I think didn't have to come to the stage, right? They could have just stayed in their trailer and like been like whatever, but they actually, Jason Hook stood off stage and watched our entire show, then afterwards come after me about my guitar tones.
Very cool.
Super
Wow.
cool dudes. Even Ivan Moody came back after we were kind of packing up, and he came over to us and he was like, "Man, those are some really great songs. Nice work." And we're like, "This is crazy," like these guys have such bad raps for being jerks, but they were so nice to us.
Not anymore.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that's the same show. That's what the front of house looked like. There were 13,000 people in the stands on that show.
Nice.
It was surreal. I don't think I took a breath for the first like 10 minutes that I was on that stage. So, a lot of fun.
That looks like a ton of fun. It's coming back, though.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
I cannot wait. Man, I am jonesing. Like, stage is in my blood. Like that's just like who I am as a person is like I have to be on stage.
So you got energy you got to put out there.
Oh
You
man, I
really do.
cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Shake hands with danger, folks. It's coming. It's coming. It's going to come hard. And it's going to come fast. So that's about all we got for this week, everybody. So make sure, get a hold of us if you got something. Oh, wait. Oh, we have to do a little bit of destruction this week. We forgot last week completely, and I apologize. I had my second COVID shot, so I wasn't actually doing as best I can. But here we go. This one is, I think it's pretty lame, so I put a bunch of sound effects on it. There you go, Figs.
Right? Yeah. How do you miss the driveway?
It's just spinning all over the place.
Yeah, it is great at this.
It's a bowl.
It was just a bowl.
Nice.
That was the last thing I had in the garage that I could destroy. So if you have anything out there to destroy, get a hold of us. We'll destroy it for you, and we'll show it to everybody. So it's good times. Again, that just came from old parties that happened in this very house about 20-some years ago now. Yeah, I'm getting old. But no, we used to just be stupid. And at the end of the night, we had to throw things off the roof because, you could. Why not?
It happens. It happens. We once threw a couch off a roof, so I
Oh!
hard relate to that. My coffee table got thrown off the roof at one point.
See,
my couch.
It's not
man.
just me.
No, it's not just you, man. It's not just you.
It's like my brother right here. But all right, that's enough for us for this week. So thank you for watching, and get a hold of us later or whatever you need to do. So until next time.